Greetings and welcome to Austin, Texas Gardening. This is going to be a really cool video where I'm going to explain how to regrow pineapple crowns. So a couple months back, my wife and I went to Maui and visited the Maui Gold Pineapple Plantation. We took a couple of pineapple crowns back home with us, and I'm going to explain how I was able to regrow these crowns. So our journey starts on May the 9th. You can see this crown has been sitting in the water for just a little bit, and it's beginning to grow a couple of roots from the base. So I left audio on purpose for this video. When I pick up the pineapple crowns, you can hear how dry they are just from touching them. This is very counterintuitive to what I've ever experienced regrowing anything else, where pretty traditionally you're going to want to put that right in the water right away, but with pineapple crowns, they actually benefit from letting them dry out a little bit. I've tried to regrow pineapple crowns in the past and have had less success with ones that were fresh than ones I let dry out for about a week or two. Not enough that you want to kill them, but just long enough that they're separated from their fruit and they begin to dry out. This primes them for root formation. Then you're going to do what you see me doing here, where I'm just removing 2 or 3 layers of the pineapple's dried out lower leaves. This base is where our roots are going to grow from, as you saw in that previous one. We're going to stick these in a mason jar and then get the other 2 peeled. And there we go. Now all 4 of our pineapple crowns are situated in their mason jars and are ready to sit in the windowsill for about a month or 2. So you can see I have our pineapple crowns here in a nice east-facing window. I'm keeping the water levels within about 1 centimeter of the lid of the mason jars, and you should know that it'd be best to change the water every maybe week or so, just so no mildew forms on your pineapple crowns. So June 2nd was week 4 for the 3 smaller pineapple crowns and week 5 for the one that had already been in the water. You can see at this point they've all began to form roots, and the one that's been in there for 5 weeks is looking very nice. Today is the morning of June 17th, and our pineapples are doing great. So these 3 over here on the left are the ones that got put in the water on May the 9th. And this one over here is the one that had already been in the water. It's forming some roots. You can see it has a much more robust root formation. And these little brown leaves on the side that are kind of green and brown are the ones that were part of the pineapple crown when I planted it. And these nice, lush, fresh ones that are green all the way to the tip are what's grown in the past month and a half. So again, this one was in the water for about 6 to 7 weeks, the others for 5 to 6 weeks. And these look great as well. You can also see that kind of new growth formation. And of course, more importantly, the root system in the water here on all 3 of them looks very healthy. So today's July 1st. Our pineapples have been in their containers for about 2 months now, 3 on the left since May 9th, and this one over here for a little bit longer. You can see they've grown quite a bit since my last update on June 17th. It's only been about 2 weeks, and you can already see these crowns here are a lot taller, but I'm also noticing something else. So, I mean, I could say this first. The root structures look pretty robust. They're definitely ready to get planted, and that's exactly what we're gonna do today. But I also noticed, you can see here, this pineapple's leaf blades, it's super sharp. They're very healthy and green looking, and this is starting to develop some white spots on it. I'm not sure if this is dust or some sort of powdery mildew or something, but I suspect these transparent spots on the pineapple's leaves are because it's getting malnourished. These plants can't survive in containers without soil, and so that's what we need to do, get them out of the water and into some very damp and nutrient-rich potting soil. So let's get started. All right, so we're in the backyard with my very overcrowded patio. And you can see here, I've just gotten way more into container gardening than I ever expected to. This video isn't about container gardening. I mean, it is. It's not about these plants, it's about pineapples. But I promised my wife I'm gonna clean this up and get these put on a stand somewhere that's not on our back porch so we can all sit down and enjoy our space. But for today, we're adding 4 more additional containers to my backyard. So here's how I do this, just to explain how I keep this on the cheap. If you guys, you know, are into container gardening, you're probably aware these, I guess they're 5-liter. I don't know, that doesn't sound right. These large terracotta pots are probably about $30-ish, and I got those larger white glazed ceramic pots for probably about $50 at the Home Depot. And I've discovered that these Home Depot buckets are 5-gallon buckets. So yeah, maybe 5 liters is right for that. But these are 5-gallon buckets. They're paint buckets. And as I pointed out in a couple of different videos, these are made with, I don't know if you can see that right there. That's HDPE 2 level recycled plastic, which means it's a food safe container, provided it's never been used for paint. So these are brand new from the store. I think they're $3, and $3 versus $30 or $60 for terracotta or glazed ceramic. They are a good budget option for containers, which is also why I'm using them. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and get our pineapples planted. And I filled these with, I forget the name of the soil, but it's just a type of outdoor fruit and vegetable container gardening soil. And so we're gonna just take our pineapple plants, place them gently in these holes, and just go ahead and mound some dirt around them, cover them up. We don't want them packed too tightly. We just want to give them space to settle into their new containers. Grab another one. And I didn't show it in this video. I talked about it more in my sweet potato video. And we don't want these buried too deep. But I should also mention, I just have used a drill bit to punch a whole bunch of 1-inch holes in here. I think it was pretty obvious before, but you can see that really well. I just want to make sure these all get good drainage. So I'm going to go through and get all 4 of our pineapple plants planted. Well, today's the next day. It's July the 3rd, and I've finally gotten around to tidying up my patio, and I've decided to relocate all my potted plants over here to the side of the house. I don't know if this is the best space for them. As you can see, my backyard is not that big, but I wanted to find a nice little corner for all of these plants. I think I need to build a stand for them at some point. They're definitely going to kill the grass sitting over here, but here's what this video is all about. I've got these, well, I guess 5 pineapple plants, but I just planted these 4 against the back wall. I think they're going to do well in our cheap Home Depot buckets, and this is just the beginning of our pineapple journey. Regrowing a pineapple fruit takes much longer than just regrowing the crowns and getting them in a pot. So this has been about 2 months now, but it takes 18 months to generate a new fruit from the crown. So you just have to stay tuned. Maybe, I don't know what that is. Is that like Halloween 2022? I'm gonna have some pineapples. So in addition to that, I also wanted to just point this out. It's both kind of a cautionary tale and also just trying to figure out what's going on here. I repotted this pineapple from a pineapple that I bought from the store. So these 4 here are all from Maui. This one is just one that my wife and I bought at the grocery store. And I potted it around January. I don't know if it was because the time of year I did it, or maybe I didn't allow its roots to regenerate in the containers long enough. They were barely sticking out when I stuck it in the soil, maybe half a centimeter long. But it looks like pineapple pups are kind of growing out of this pineapple here. So for the longest time, this kind of part of the pineapple crown just died. And over the last couple of months, I've been seeing these new pups stick out, and it looks like it has a couple of heads on it here. I recall when we went to Maui, our tour guide was showing us a pineapple peduncle with some pups growing off of it, and that's kind of what it looks like I have going on here. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen to this pineapple, but I decided I'd leave it in its container and just kind of see if I can figure it out. So this video isn't necessarily how to grow pineapple fruit from a pineapple crown, but just how to regrow the crown itself and get it in the ground. As I mentioned, if fruit is ever produced, I'll make a whole different video on that, but thanks again for watching Austin, Texas Gardening.